Manchester City fans, if you could describe one style of opponent that you would least likely want to go up against, a team that is most likely going to cause City problems, what would that be? What would the traits of that football team be? It would probably be a very physical team that win their ground duels, a team that is happy to concede possession, a team that is very tight and compact, a team that does not press the ball, and a team that has a goalkeeper with one of the most elite shot-stopping records in world football right now. I got bad news for you, because that's Sunderland. Sunderland are the second worst pressers in the Premier League. That is the PPDA statistic you can see there. That stands for passes per defensive action. In other words, the lower the number, the better that team is at pressing. Manchester City are actually fifth worst in the league, which is something that has changed drastically this season. There is another aspect of Manchester City that has changed drastically as well. But sticking with Sunderland, they average the second lowest possession in the league. They also have the best ground duel win percentage in the league. And if we do somehow manage to break down Sunderland, we've got to get past Robin Roofs, who is an elite shot stopper in the top 10% for PSXG minus goals against, which in other words evaluates how good of a shot stopper you are, takes into consideration how good the shot was that he faced. If you're looking for the basic statistics in terms of save percentage, he's got a 77% save percentage. That's ridiculous. This is a problem, because this has been our kryptonite this season. Big time. It's been a massive factor to Manchester City's season. And sticking with the idea that we have changed, because we are now the fifth worst pressers in the league. We used to be the best a few years back. Now we are the fifth worst pressers, but we are the best fast break team in the league. That is mind-boggling and a massive indication that Pep Guardiola has adapted and also shows his willingness to adapt, which is a great situation for City in one aspect. But are we ready? Are we ready to now go back to muscle memory with possession-based football being key? But if you're looking for statistical respite to calm those nerves going into this Sunderland game, then there's a bit of positivity there, because Sunderland are actually the second most error-prone side in the league. City have won 24 games out of 26 against newly promoted sides. Now, one of those was Leeds last week, and how close was that to not being a win? This time it's going up against a Sunderland side that are miles above Leeds, literally, and in terms of the aura around the football club, the confidence of Sunderland right now. They deserve to be exactly where they are right now. And Sunderland, actually, they don't have a very good record away at Manchester City. 13 attempts they've had at the Etihad Stadium, and they haven't won a single one in the previous 13, which isn't bad going, but Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, like the title suggests, he has got a massive decision to make, because Real Madrid is round the corner. What team selection do you go with? Do you prioritise Real Madrid, or do you try and get the best of both worlds between two sides? For me, you prioritise Sunderland. I think you prioritise Sunderland because we might get another opportunity to still progress. I don't care about finishing first in the Champions League or eighth. As long as I'm through automatically without a playoff, I'm happy. Just get through into the knockout rounds. The Premier League, though, it's on a knife edge. We are hanging on into this title race by the skin of our teeth. This is the 11 I would go with for Manchester City, and I'm expecting Sunderland to go with a back five. They do sometimes go to a back four and play a simple 4-4-2 in their structure, in their defensive structure, but I think they might go with a back five here, because City have had these inverted wingers in recent times, and it's caused opposition sides problems, namely against a back four, though. When you go up against a back five, you're bringing in Jeremy Doku into those pockets, and Ryan Cherky, who for me has to start this game for me. He has to start, because he's a lock picker. He will find a pocket of space. He's got that magical ability on the edge of an opponent's box to find a pass that you just don't see coming. You don't see it. He sees things that others don't, Ryan Cherky. So for me, he should be playing in this game, starting. The only concern for me is in those pockets where normally it's been a back four, where we've seen fullbacks like Conor Bradley for Liverpool not know whether to go and press Jeremy Doku or stick to the wide play. Either or. If you go into Jeremy Doku, then you're leaving the overlap of Nico O'Reilly. But with a back five, the job's made up for him. It's just the outside centre-back. The right centre-back and the left centre-back, they can go. The key here is that leaves Haaland in a one-on-one situation. Okay? And you're not got anything worried about on the overlap if you're Sunderland either, because Nico O'Reilly can be covered by the fullback. Same for Mateus Nunes down the other side, and all of a sudden this is how the game is going to look. I'm telling you right now, this is how the game is going to look, and how ugly does that look? That looks like a grueling 90 minutes or 95 minutes of football that is completely packed and void of spaces. There's going to be no space for this Manchester City side, and how we win is very much dependent on a bit of magic, hopefully an error from Sunderland. That would be nice. That would be very much welcome. An error, seeing as they are the second most error-prone side in the league. Give us one of them, please, because we might need it. We might need it. How the game for me is won is Ryan Cherky. Obviously, Phil Foden is a bit deeper than he has been in recent weeks, but I would still go for him, pulling strings a little bit deeper. No Bernardo Silva in this game. I know a lot of people are saying, well, what about Tijani Reinders and ground jewels? Well, actually, if you look at the most recent few games of Tijani Reinders' ground jewel win percentage, he's actually winning a lot of his ground jewels now. There was a couple of games ago where he was dropping stinkers, where he's having like 8 ground jewels, 0-1. Really, really poor physical approach from Tijani Reinders. Lately, though, the last few games in particular, he's been very good. So maybe he's learned that he's going to have to put himself about a little bit and win some physical duels. But Granit Xhaka and Siddiqui in midfield, they're going to be very difficult. Talby's going to be tucking in deep. Enzo Lafitte, who is very dangerous coming down that left side. A lot of Sunderland's attacks have come down the left side over the course of this Premier League season so far, so expect him to be someone on the break. There isn't an abundance of pace. Sunderland are not known for a fast break side. They're just difficult to break down, and they pick their moments wisely when to get forward. They are a very opportunistic side, and it's going to be so difficult for this Manchester City side to actually come away with all 3 Premier League points. Not going to be easy at all. But I want to hear your predictions. I want to hear your predicted starting 11. Who would you start in the midfield? Who would you start either side of Erling Haaland, whether it be probably Jeremy Doku, but that other player? Are you going Foden a little higher? Would you like to see him drop a little bit deeper? Interesting. In terms of the missing players, Ajibola Alese and Mamadou Habib Diarra is the other one. Try and pronounce that. Diarra, in other words. He's a big player missing for them, in all fairness to Sunderland. City, Kovacic and Rodri, who continues to be out. This game, man. This game is not going to be easy. Obviously, as I've already mentioned, Villa play Arsenal the day before. If Villa can just get a draw or even a win before this game, the 12:30 Saturday lunchtime kickoff, a couple of hours before City played, the boost of confidence that would give Manchester City, knowing that Villa have taken something off Arsenal. They've dropped points again, Arsenal, and Manchester City could genuinely capitalise on a situation which you would never have thought of a few weeks ago. Huge game, massive game of football for both teams. I think this is going to be a tight one. I'm going to go with a 2-0. Sunderland, who will think, well, City are in our sights. They're only 5 points behind us as well. So I would expect them to come here and maybe play for the draw. I mean, Liverpool, they eventually got the draw, but they were unlucky, Sunderland. They could have easily snatched it at the end of that game against Liverpool away at Anfield, and they've got some mixed form as well. Just to remind you of the form for both sides in terms of Sunderland, there's a few draws in there that you can see as well, with Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal being in there, but they're teams that you would expect for at the beginning of the season, you would have expected Sunderland to struggle in those games, but albeit the colours don't look very pretty, not much green going on there, and the Fulham game's a bit of a stinker, but outside of that, the teams they're going up against, they're doing very good. Very, very good performances from Sunderland. As for Manchester City, our form is starting to look a little bit better, but that's only on paper. If you actually take the context of the football matches, what happened in those games is a very different feeling to how all of that green actually looks. The Newcastle and Leverkusen game sort of set the tone for the 2 games that followed, albeit we got 6 points from those games. Massive. I'm going 2-0. That's what I'm sticking with. Make sure you tune in for the Typical City watch along. Come and tune in for that this Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff here in the UK. Like and subscribe to Typical City. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now.